Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Dutch endgame translator Saskia Peters told the Daily Mail, "I translate what is in front of me. The names were there. I did not add them. The names of the royals were already before me. I just did what I was paid to do, and that was translate the book from English into Dutch." The New York Times took a look at Scobie-gate. They write, "As book rollouts go, the one for Omid Scobie's latest offering about the British royal family endgame has been a hot mess. Splashy, gaudy, tantalizing, but ultimately a bit withholding, which is to say par for the course for a putative tell-all account of the world's most covered, least decoded family. The fact that the British press has been so reluctant, despite the names being broadcast on TV and all over the internet, attests to both Britain's stringent libel and privacy laws and to the leverage that the royal family exerts over the press. The Mail said on its front page on Thursday that Mr. Morgan's unveiling would cause outrage. This latest eruption captures one of the odd paradoxes of royal coverage in the social media age. While Harry and William have lashed out at relentless, often inaccurate coverage by the tabloid press, some of the ripest morsels about the House of Windsor never surface in the papers. They lurk in the murky depths of Facebook or X, widely shared and easily accessible, but lacking the Fleet Street imprimatur that the royal family both loathes and covets. Scobie was on Newsnight, where host Victoria Derbyshire said, "But the buck stops with you, surely." Scobie replied, "It doesn't stop with me because there are irresponsible people in this country who have broken the law and repeated names that should never have been repeated." In The Independent, Angela Levin wonders, why won't Prince Harry speak out to defend his dad? She isn't the only one asking that. Levin writes, "The test to determine whether Harry and Meghan were involved with Omid Scobie's new book, Endgame, is to see if Prince Harry sues him. Harry dislikes anyone breaching his privacy and is a regular at the high courts. Similarly, Meghan isn't known to be slow in calling out intrusion when private correspondence is thrust into the public domain. It is something she has done before, and after the contents of private letters exchanged between King Charles have been exposed, why not now? If we hear nothing from them, we can only assume that they approve of Scobie's spiteful book, where race and the royals form a whole new chapter." PR expert Mark Borkowski told the Daily Express US, "This guy, Scobie, knows how to create discourse and debate. And if he's found in the favoured confidant of Harry and Meghan, it strikes me as another attempt from them through third or fourth degree to cause as much mischief as possible. People seem to think the book is pretty scurrilous with lack of facts. This book is built for a wider audience, harnessing the soap opera of the relationship between the Sussexes and the royals. It is no good for Harry and Meghan because they continually lose the PR war. In a war, you need two combatants to fight it out, but there's only one combatant fighting against themselves, while the royals don't react. That must frustrate them." A report in the Express quotes Pauline McLaren, Professor of Marketing and Consumer Research at Royal Holloway, University of London, who said ahead of the book's publication, Harry and Meghan tried to distance themselves. According to McLaren, "It will be interesting to see what they do. Before the book came out, they were trying to distance themselves from it. Close contacts of theirs were saying this was not a book they had contributed to, they were not supporting it. Omid Scobie has been at lengths to distance himself, saying he's not a pal of Meghan's. The Sussexes may be worried the book will spoil the chance of restoring relationships with the royal family. Many media outlets are reminding people that Omid Scobie was Harry and Meghan's mouthpiece. I don't think that is correct, but if that continues, it will damage Harry and Meghan more than the royals. For the royals, it's just another emotional frenzy. They can move past it." Journalist Carol Malone told GB News, "I think they should come out and denounce this book. If they don't, it looks like they're not disagreeing with what's in it. They should go after him legally and destroy him. A lot of this is tosh. It's just nonsense. I would love to know who his so-called royal sources are. No one in the royal family is going to talk to him, and if he says he's seen the letter that Meghan wrote to Charles saying about this so-called racist conversation, how has he seen that? Did one of the Windsors show it to him?" In the Daily Mail, Richard Eden writes, "The controversy has parallels with what happened to exiled King Edward VIII in the run-up to the abdication in 1936. Then, British newspapers did not cover the story of the King's romance with twice-divorced American Wallis Simpson, only to be shocked when details emerged overseas of the implications of the relationship, which revealed that he would have to sacrifice the crown for the woman he loved. No one wants to return to those days of censorship when Britons were denied the ins and outs of their own monarchy. But what about the rights of those accused of what Scobie refers in his book to unconscious bias? Now that the world knows their identity, what can they do? And if they choose the legal route, who might they sue? Mr. Scobie and his Dutch publishers? Perhaps the two royals will do no such thing, and instead Harry and Meghan will do the suing. Certainly that is a suggestion of media lawyer Mark Stevens, who says they may have a case against Scobie for breach of privacy. The names are said to have come from private correspondence between Charles and his daughter-in-law. It would, he says, have a twin purpose, preventing him or anyone else from repeating information that should never have seen the light of day, and as a demonstration of goodwill, it could be the great rapprochement. But judging by their silence, not just on the Scobie book, but on the whole racism claim, it seems highly unlikely. Palace Intrigue will be right back. Sarah Ferguson's choice of Gucci sneakers alongside her elegant black dress sparked mixed reactions among royal fashion enthusiasts. Fergie, accompanied by her daughters Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, attended the Anti-Slavery Collective's inaugural Winter Gala at Battersea Arts Centre in South London. The charity, co-founded by Eugenie and Julia de Boinville, focuses on raising awareness about modern slavery. While all three women opted for classic black gowns, it was Ferguson's silver glitter Bambi web detail studded low-top sneakers that caught the eye of many on Instagram. One royal follower remarked, "Not sure why she's got those trainers on unless she accidentally left her shoes in a taxi." We did want to take a minute to highlight the King's speech at COP28, completely overshadowed by the endgame drama. The King said, "Records are now being broken so often that we are perhaps becoming immune to what they are really telling us. When we see the news that this last Northern Hemisphere summer, for instance, was the warmest global average temperature on record, we need to pause to process what this actually means. We are taking the natural world outside balanced norms and limits and into dangerous, uncharted territory. We are carrying out a vast, frightening experiment of changing every ecological condition all at once at a pace that far outstrips nature's ability to cope. Change will come by working together and making it easier to embrace decisions that will sustain our world rather than carry on as though there are no limits or as though our actions have no consequences. We need to remember that the indigenous worldview teaches us that we are all connected, not only as human beings, but with all living things and all that sustains life. As part of this grand and sacred system, harmony with nature must be maintained. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth." And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify or Apple. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue and good times.